The eviction notice felt like ice in Simone Bennett's trembling hands. 3 days. She had 3 days to come up with $2,000 or she and her 5-year-old daughter Gloria would be on the streets. The medical bills from Gloria's recent hospital stay sat in a pile on their tiny kitchen table, each one stamped with angry red letters demanding payment. Simone's phone buzzed with another threatening message from a collection agency. Her checking account showed $12.37. Her next paycheck from the diner wouldn't come for another week, and even then, it wouldn't be enough. Not nearly enough. She looked at Gloria sleeping peacefully on their worn couch, unaware that her mother was drowning in despair. The little girl's breathing was finally steady after months of respiratory issues, but the treatments had cost everything Simone had saved and more. She had sold her car, pawned her late mother's jewelry, and picked up every extra shift the diner would give her. Nothing was enough. As she stared at the eviction notice, Simone felt her throat tighten with tears she couldn't afford to cry. Tomorrow she would go back to that diner, smile at customers who sometimes left generous tips and sometimes left nothing, and pray for a miracle she didn't believe would come. The next morning arrived too quickly. Simone walked the mile to work, her feet already aching in her old shoes. The diner was nearly empty when she arrived, just the usual morning regulars nursing their coffee. Patricia, the manager, gave her a sympathetic look. Everyone knew about Simone's struggles. Some days the other waitresses slipped her their tips when they thought she wasn't looking. It helped, but not enough. Never enough. The bell above the door chimed. A man walked in, and Simone's trained waitress smile fixed itself on her face automatically. He looked tired, the kind of bone-deep exhaustion that came from more than just lack of sleep. His clothes were simple, a faded jacket and worn jeans. But what caught her attention was the little girl holding his hand. She was maybe 7 years old, with light brown hair and the saddest eyes Simone had ever seen. The child didn't speak, didn't smile, just followed her father to a corner booth and sat down with her hands folded in her lap. Simone grabbed her notepad and walked over. "Good morning. What can I get you folks today?" The man looked up at her, and something in his expression made her pause. His eyes were dark with worry, scanning her face as if searching for something. "Coffee, please. Black. And..." He glanced at his daughter. "Chocolate milk for Isabel. And maybe some pancakes." The little girl, Isabel, said nothing. She just stared at the table. Would you watch a struggling mother choose between feeding her child and keeping a roof over their heads? Have you ever felt that desperate? Drop a comment below and subscribe to see how one chance encounter changes everything. Simone brought their order, watching the way the man cut his daughter's pancakes into small pieces, the way he tried to coax her to eat. The girl took tiny bites, mechanical, as if eating was just another task to complete. Something about them tugged at Simone's heart. They were hurting, both of them, in a way she recognized. She was refilling his coffee when he spoke again. "You're good with people." Simone blinked. "I try to be. I can tell." He paused, seeming to weigh his words carefully. "I'm Nathan. This is my daughter, Isabel. We're new in town." "Simone," she replied, offering a genuine smile. "Welcome. Where are you from?" "California originally." Nathan's jaw tightened. "We needed a fresh start. My wife. Isabel's mother, she passed away 8 months ago." Simone's heart clenched. "I'm so sorry." Isabel's small hand reached for her father's arm, and Nathan covered it with his own. The gesture was protective, loving, but Simone could see the strain in both of them. They were barely holding together. "I'm looking for work," Nathan said quietly. "And someone who can help with Isabel after school. I noticed you're good with kids. I saw you talking to that family earlier." He nodded toward a booth where Simone had been joking with a toddler. "Would you be interested? I can pay $20 an hour, cash. Just a few hours a day, maybe 3 or 4 days a week. $20 an hour." Simone's mental calculator went into overdrive. That was $80 a day, potentially 300 or more a week. It could save her. It could save Gloria. "Yes," she said immediately, gratefully. "Yes, I can do that. Thank you. Thank you so much." Nathan's shoulders seemed to relax slightly. "You're sure? I know it's sudden. I'm sure. I have a daughter too. She's 5. I understand what you're going through, and I'd be honored to help. For the first time since walking in, something like hope flickered across Nathan's face. When can you start? Whenever you need me. Tomorrow? I can pick you up after your shift here. Simone nodded, feeling the first ray of light pierce through her despair. This stranger, this grieving father, had just thrown her a lifeline. She didn't know it yet, but he was drowning too, just in a different way. Nathan Pierce sat in his modest rental car outside the diner the next afternoon, watching through the window as Simone worked. He had spent the previous night researching her, a habit he'd developed since becoming a billionaire CEO. Trust was a luxury he couldn't afford. What he'd found had only confirmed his first impression. Simone Bennett, 28 years old, single mother, no criminal record, a string of steady jobs and glowing references from every employer. More importantly, social media showed a woman who genuinely loved her daughter, who volunteered at the local food bank when she had time, who helped elderly neighbors carry groceries. She was real. She was exactly what Isabel needed. And what Nathan was desperate to find. His phone buzzed with the 15th message from his assistant. The company needed him back. Board meetings, merger negotiations, a product launch that couldn't be delayed. But Nathan had made his decision. His daughter came first. Isabel had stopped speaking 6 weeks after her mother's death. Therapists, specialists, psychiatrists. None of them could reach her. She moved through life like a ghost, present but absent. Nathan had tried everything money could buy, and all of it had failed. So he'd made a radical choice. He'd stepped away from his public life, left his penthouse, his luxury cars, his entire world behind. He'd created a new identity, simple and unremarkable. Just Nathan, a struggling single father looking for work. He needed to find someone who would care about Isabel for who she was, not because of the Pierce fortune. Someone genuine. Someone who understood struggle and survival and love that had nothing to do with money. Simone emerged from the diner at 4 o'clock, looking exhausted but managing a smile when she saw his car. She climbed into the passenger seat. Hi. Thank you again for this opportunity. Thank you for accepting, Nathan replied. I know it must seem strange, hiring someone you just met. These days, I'm grateful for any help. Simone's honesty was refreshing. Where's Isabel? At the library. I've been taking her there in the afternoons. She likes the quiet, and the children's section has comfortable chairs. She sits and looks at picture books but doesn't read them. She just stares. Simone's expression softened with understanding. Grief is different for everyone. Especially children. They drove to the library in comfortable silence. Isabel was exactly where Nathan said she'd be, curled in an oversized chair, a book unopened in her lap. When she saw her father, she stood immediately, obedient and silent. Isabel, this is Miss Simone. Remember I told you about her? She's going to spend some time with us. Isabel looked at Simone with those haunted eyes, assessing, distant. Simone crouched down to Isabel's level, not invading her space but showing respect. Hi, Isabel. I have a daughter named Gloria. She's 5. Maybe you two could be friends. Would that be okay? Isabel didn't respond, but she didn't look away either. That was something. They went to the park next. Nathan had discovered Isabel would tolerate being outdoors if she could sit quietly and watch other children play. Simone sat beside her on a bench while Nathan stood nearby, pretending to check his phone but really watching every interaction. I like your shoes, Simone said casually. Purple is a great color. Isabel glanced down at her sneakers but said nothing. My daughter loves purple too. And pink. She wants everything in her room to be pink, but we can't afford to paint right now. Maybe someday. Still silence, but Isabel shifted slightly closer. Simone didn't push. She just talked in a gentle, easy way about small things. The weather. The birds in the trees. A funny thing Gloria had said that morning. She wasn't trying to force Isabel to respond. She was just offering her presence, her warmth, without demanding anything in return. After an hour, Nathan walked over. We should get going. I need to pick up some groceries. Simone stood, and as she did, Isabel's small hand reached out and touched her sleeve. Just for a second. Then it was gone. Nathan saw it. His breath caught. They drove Simone home, and she directed them to a rundown apartment complex that made Nathan's heart sink. This was where she lived. This was what struggle really looked like. He parked and turned to her. Same time tomorrow? Yes. Absolutely. Simone hesitated. Nathan, I need to be honest with you. I'm in a tight spot financially. If there's any way you could pay me at the end of each week instead of bi-weekly, it would help me a lot. I have some urgent bills. This was the moment Nathan had been preparing for. He reached into his jacket and pulled out an envelope. I thought you might. Here's payment for the first 2 weeks in advance. $800. Simone's eyes went wide. I can't accept this before I've even worked. You already helped Isabel today. You treated her with kindness and patience. That's worth everything to me. Please take it. Simone's hands shook as she accepted the envelope. Tears filled her eyes. You don't understand what this means. You saved us. My daughter and me. We were going to be evicted. This changes everything. Nathan felt his chest tighten. He knew exactly what it meant. That was why he was doing this. I'm glad I could help. Isabel needs you. And it sounds like Gloria needs this too. We're helping each other. Thank you, Simone whispered. Thank you so much. As she got out of the car and walked toward her building, Nathan watched her go. He'd found her. He'd found the right person. Now he just had to hope that when she eventually learned the truth about who he really was, she wouldn't hate him for the deception. 2 weeks passed in a gentle rhythm that surprised everyone involved. Simone paid her rent with grateful tears, settled the most urgent medical bills, and bought Gloria new shoes that actually fit. The relief was overwhelming. For the first time in months, she could breathe without the weight of financial terror crushing her chest. Working with Isabel was different from anything Simone had expected. The little girl remained mostly silent, but small changes began to appear. On the 3rd day, Isabel sat beside Simone instead of across from her at the library. On the 5th day, she accepted Simone's hand when crossing the street. On the 7th day, she smiled. It was tiny, barely there, but real. Nathan noticed everything. He watched from a distance, his heart breaking and healing simultaneously. This woman, this waitress who had her own struggles and her own child to worry about, was reaching his daughter in ways trained professionals couldn't. Simone didn't treat Isabel like a patient or a problem. She treated her like a person who was hurting and needed time. Would it be okay if I brought Gloria to the park tomorrow? Simone asked one afternoon. She keeps asking about Isabel. I've told her stories. Nathan felt nervous. More people meant more complications. But he saw the hope in Simone's eyes and couldn't refuse. Of course. I'd like to meet her. The next day, Simone arrived with a tiny whirlwind of energy. Gloria Bennett was all smiles and bouncing curls, talking a mile a minute as she held her mother's hand. She wore a faded pink dress that was clearly too small but clean and carefully pressed. Is that Isabel? Hi, Isabel. I'm Gloria. Mama says you like purple. I like purple too. And pink. And yellow. Do you like yellow? I have a yellow crayon but it's really short now because I use it a lot. Do you like to color? Isabel stared at this tornado of a child with something like wonder. Gloria didn't wait for answers. She just kept talking, pulling a crumpled coloring book from her backpack. I brought this. We can share. Mama says sharing is important. Do you have crayons? I have 6. Well, 5 whole ones and 1 broken one, but broken crayons still color, right? Do you believe one child can help heal another? Have you seen the power of innocent friendship? Comment below about a time when someone unexpected changed your life, and make sure you're subscribed to see where this beautiful connection leads. Simone and Nathan watched as Gloria simply sat beside Isabel and started coloring, narrating everything she was doing. Isabel, slowly, carefully, picked up a purple crayon. She pressed it to the paper. The first mark she'd made voluntarily in weeks. Gloria beamed. That's so pretty. You're really good at coloring. Over the next hour, something magical happened. Isabel didn't speak, but she colored. She shared crayons. When Gloria's broken yellow crayon finally gave up completely, Isabel handed her the purple one without hesitation. Gloria responded by drawing a purple flower and writing Isabel above it in wobbly letters. "That's you," Gloria explained, pointing. "I can't spell good yet, but Mama is teaching me. You're my friend now." Friends draw pictures of each other. Isabel looked at the picture, then at Gloria, then at the picture again. Her lips moved slightly, forming words that didn't come out. But her eyes were brighter than Nathan had seen them in months. When it was time to leave, Gloria hugged Isabel goodbye. To Nathan's shock, Isabel didn't pull away. She stood still, accepting the affection like someone starved for it. As Simone and Gloria walked away, Gloria chattered happily. "I like Isabel, Mama. She's quiet, but that's okay. Sometimes people are quiet. Can we see her again tomorrow?" "I think so, baby. I think so." That night, Nathan sat on the edge of Isabel's bed, tucking her in like always. She clutched the drawing Gloria had made, the paper already wrinkled from being held so tightly. "You made a good friend today," Nathan said softly. "Gloria really likes you." Isabel nodded, just slightly. "Miss Simone is nice too, isn't she?" Another small nod. Nathan kissed his daughter's forehead. "I'm glad. I want you to be happy, sweetheart. That's all I want." As he turned to leave, Isabel's small voice stopped him. "Daddy." Nathan froze. It was the first word she'd spoken in 2 months. He turned back slowly, afraid to break whatever spell had been cast. "Yes, baby. Is Gloria coming back?" Tears burned Nathan's eyes, but he smiled. "Yes. She's coming back. And so is Miss Simone." "Good." Isabel closed her eyes, still holding the purple flower drawing. "I like them." Nathan left the room and immediately called his therapist, Dr. Raymond Cole, who had been consulting throughout Isabel's silence. "She spoke," Nathan said, his voice breaking. "She asked about the little girl she met today. She spoke." "That's wonderful, Nathan. Truly wonderful. What changed?" "Simone. The woman I hired. She brought her daughter to meet Isabel, and something just clicked. Gloria talked enough for both of them, and Isabel responded. Not with words at first, but with actions. And then tonight, she asked if they were coming back." Dr. Cole was quiet for a moment. "Sometimes children heal each other in ways adults can't. They don't have our baggage, our complicated approaches. They just offer friendship, simple and pure. It sounds like you found something special." Nathan thought about Simone's gentle patience, Gloria's infectious joy, and his daughter's first words in 63 days. "I think I did. I really think I did." The change in Isabel was gradual but undeniable. Each day brought small victories. She started speaking in short sentences, mostly to Gloria but occasionally to Simone and Nathan. She laughed at Gloria's silly jokes. She asked for specific foods instead of just eating whatever was put in front of her. The light was coming back. Simone noticed Nathan watching his daughter with a mixture of joy and sorrow, and she understood. Every milestone was a celebration and a reminder of what had been lost. Isabel was healing, but the scar of her mother's absence would always be there. One rainy afternoon, they were all at Nathan's rental house, a modest 2-bedroom place that Simone had been surprised to see. For someone paying her $20 an hour, she'd expected something more substantial. But Nathan had explained he was between jobs, living on savings, focusing on Isabel. She respected that completely. The girls were building a blanket fort in the living room, Gloria directing the operation with her usual enthusiasm. Nathan and Simone sat in the kitchen, drinking coffee and listening to the children's laughter. "Can I ask you something?" Nathan said suddenly. "About Gloria's father." Simone's expression tightened slightly. "There's not much to tell. He left when I was 6 months pregnant. Said he wasn't ready to be a father. I haven't heard from him since. I'm sorry." "Don't be. Gloria and I are better off without someone who didn't want to be there. It's hard, being alone, doing everything by myself." But at least I know every decision I make is for her. There's no fighting, no second guessing. Nathan nodded slowly. My wife, Catherine, she was sick for a year before she died. Cancer. We knew it was coming, but knowing doesn't make it easier. Isabel watched her mother fade away. No child should have to see that. No, Simone agreed softly. No child should. But Isabel has you. You're doing everything you can for her. I failed her for months. I threw money at the problem. Hired the best doctors, the best therapists. All they did was make her feel like she was broken, something that needed fixing. Then you came along, and you just treated her like a person. Like someone worth knowing. Because she is, Simone said simply. She's a beautiful, smart, sensitive little girl who lost her mother. She doesn't need fixing. She needs love and patience and time. Nathan looked at Simone with something deeper than gratitude. How did you get so wise? Simone laughed, a sound with edges of pain. Wise? I'm barely keeping my head above water most days. I work 2 jobs, I can't afford decent healthcare, I live in an apartment with mold in the bathroom. Wisdom is a luxury. You're raising a wonderful daughter. Gloria is kind, joyful, empathetic. That doesn't happen by accident. I try my best. That's all any of us can do. From the living room came a shriek of laughter. They both looked over to see Gloria and Isabel collapsed in a pile of blankets, giggling hysterically. Something had collapsed, and instead of crying, Isabel was laughing. Actually laughing. Nathan's eyes filled with tears. Simone reached over and squeezed his hand without thinking. She's going to be okay. You both are. Nathan held her hand, not letting go. Thank you. For everything. For being here, for bringing Gloria, for caring about a kid who isn't yours. She feels like mine now, Simone admitted. Both of them feel like mine. Is that strange? No. It's not strange at all. That night, Nathan made another decision. He called Simone after she'd gone home. I want to help you more. Not just with money for watching Isabel. I want to help with Gloria's medical bills, with your rent. Please let me. Simone started to protest, then stopped herself. Pride wouldn't feed her daughter. Pride wouldn't keep a roof over their heads. Why would you do this for us? You barely know me. Because you gave me my daughter back. Because Gloria gave Isabel a reason to speak again. Because I have the means to help, and watching you struggle when I could make things easier. I can't do that. Please let me help. Not as payment, but as a friend. Simone felt tears stream down her face. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Nathan. I don't know how I'll ever repay you. You already have. Every single day, you already have. The next week, Nathan paid 6 months of Simone's rent in advance. He settled all of Gloria's outstanding medical bills. He bought both girls new clothes, new shoes, new toys. Not excessive, not flashy. Just nice things, the kind of things a child should have. Simone accepted it all with gratitude that came from a place of deep survival instinct. She wasn't too proud to let someone help her daughter thrive. She wasn't too proud to accept kindness when it was offered freely. But she also started to feel something else. Something warm and complicated whenever Nathan smiled at her. Something that made her heart beat faster when their hands accidentally touched. Something that terrified her because she'd sworn she'd never depend on a man again. And Nathan, watching her with his daughter, seeing her strength and grace and beauty, felt his carefully constructed walls beginning to crumble. He'd come here to find a mother for Isabel. He hadn't expected to start falling for the woman himself. 3 months into their arrangement, the dynamics had shifted completely. Simone spent almost every afternoon with Nathan and Isabel. Gloria joined them most days. The 4 of them had become something like a family, though no one said it out loud. They went to the zoo, the children's museum, the botanical gardens. Simple outings that meant everything. Simone had quit her second job, the overnight cleaning position that had been destroying her health. Nathan insisted he would make up the difference, and she'd accepted after only minimal protest. She was learning that accepting help didn't make her weak. It made her smart. But she still worked at the diner. She needed something that was hers, separate from Nathan's generosity. Patricia had promoted her to lead waitress, which came with a small raise and better shifts. It wasn't much, but it was hers. One evening, after the girls had fallen asleep during a movie, Nathan and Simone sat on his small porch, watching the sunset. The rental house had a tiny yard where Isabel and Gloria had planted flowers together. Purple and pink, naturally. "I need to tell you something," Nathan said, his voice tight with emotion. Simone's stomach clenched. Here it comes, she thought. He's met someone. He doesn't need me anymore. He's moving away. All the catastrophic possibilities ran through her mind. "I'm not who you think I am." That wasn't what she expected. "What do you mean?" Nathan took a deep breath. "My full name is Nathan Pierce. I'm the CEO of Pierce Technologies. Maybe you've heard of it." Simone blinked. Pierce Technologies. The company that made smartphones, tablets, smart home devices. One of the biggest tech companies in the world. "You're joking." "I'm not. I have a penthouse in San Francisco, a net worth that's obscene, and a public profile I walked away from 3 months ago. I left everything to focus on Isabel, to find genuine help for her without the complications of my money and status. I wanted someone who would care about her as a person, not as a billionaire's daughter." Simone stood up, her mind racing. "You've been lying to me this whole time?" "Not lying. Just not telling you everything. I'm still Nathan. Still Isabel's father. Still the person you've gotten to know. The money doesn't change who I am." "It changes everything," Simone said, but her voice wasn't angry. It was scared. "I'm a waitress, Nathan. I live in a rundown apartment. I can barely afford groceries. You're a billionaire. We're from different worlds. We're from the same world right now. This world. Where 2 single parents are doing their best for their daughters. Where 2 people have become friends. Where?" He stopped, not quite ready to say the rest. Simone wrapped her arms around herself. "Why are you telling me now?" "Because I'm falling for you," Nathan said quietly. "And I can't do that while hiding who I really am. You deserve honesty. You deserve everything. Has someone you trusted ever revealed a truth that changed everything? How did you handle it? Drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to see if love can bridge the gap between 2 different worlds." Simone stared at him. "You're what?" "I'm falling for you, Simone. Maybe I have been since the day we met. You're kind, strong, beautiful, patient. You brought my daughter back to life. You made me remember what it feels like to hope for something beyond just surviving. I'm in love with you, and I need you to know the truth before anything else happens." Simone sat back down, her legs suddenly weak. "I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything right now. I just needed you to know. All of it. Who I am, what I feel, everything." They sat in silence for a long moment. Then Simone spoke, her voice barely a whisper. "I've been falling for you too. I tried not to. I tried to keep it professional, to just focus on Isabel. But every time you smile at me, every time you show Gloria kindness, every time you prove that good men do exist, I fall a little more." Nathan reached for her hand. "I want to give you everything. You and Gloria. Security, opportunity, a life where you never have to worry about money again. I want to pay for Gloria's education, set up trust funds, buy you a house, whatever you need. Please let me do this." The old Simone would have said no. Would have insisted on maintaining her independence, on not becoming someone's charity case. But the new Simone, the one who had learned that accepting help was an act of wisdom and love, looked at Nathan and saw only sincerity. "Okay," she said. "Yes. I accept. All of it. The help, the honesty, the feelings. I accept it all." Nathan pulled her into his arms, and Simone let herself be held. She'd been strong for so long, carrying everything alone. It felt incredible to share the weight with someone else. "There's one more thing," Nathan said. "I need to go back to San Francisco in 2 weeks. Just for a few days, handle some business I can't avoid any longer. I want you and Gloria to come with us. I want you to see my real life, meet my mother, understand the world you'd be entering. That's terrifying. I know. But I'll be with you every step of the way. And Simone? You're going to fit in perfectly, because you're perfect exactly as you are. Simone laughed, a sound of joy mixed with disbelief. I'm not perfect. To me you are. To Isabel you are. And that's what matters. They stayed on that porch until late into the night, talking about everything and nothing. About Nathan's childhood, growing up with wealth but emotionally distant parents. About Simone's mother, who had raised her alone and taught her strength. About dreams and fears and hopes for their daughters. When Simone finally went home, she carried Nathan's promise of a better future and the terrifying knowledge that she'd fallen completely in love with a billionaire CEO who was somehow also the most down-to-earth man she'd ever met. The 2 weeks before the San Francisco trip flew by in a blur of happiness. Nathan and Simone stopped pretending their feelings didn't exist. They held hands at the park. They kissed goodbye when she left each evening. They talked on the phone until late at night, voices soft with affection and possibility. Isabel and Gloria noticed immediately. Children always did. Are you and Miss Simone going to get married? Isabel asked one morning, completely casually, as if she was asking about breakfast. Nathan nearly choked on his coffee. What makes you ask that? Because you smile at her the way Daddy smiled at Mommy in the pictures. And she smiles at you the same way. Gloria says you're in love. Nathan looked at his daughter, seeing the hope in her eyes. Would that be okay with you? If Miss Simone and I got married someday? Isabel nodded enthusiastically. Yes. Then Gloria would be my sister for real. And we'd all live together. That would be perfect. Nathan's heart swelled. His daughter, who'd been silent and broken just months ago, was now planning their family's future with childlike optimism. I'm glad you think so. I think it would be perfect too. Meanwhile, Gloria was having a similar conversation with Simone. Mama, when you marry Mr. Nathan, can we move to a house with a yard? Isabel said they're going to a big house soon, and we should come too. Simone paused from making dinner. Baby, Mr. Nathan and I are just friends. Nah. You kiss him. I saw you. And friends don't kiss like that. You kiss like the princess and prince in my storybook. Simone couldn't help but laugh. Okay, you got me. I really like Mr. Nathan. But marriage is a big step. We need to take our time. But you love him, right? And he loves you. Isabel says so. And if you love each other, you should get married so we can be sisters. The simple logic of children made everything seem so easy. We'll see, baby. We'll see. Nathan had arranged for first-class tickets to San Francisco and a suite at a luxury hotel. When they arrived at the airport, Simone tried not to gawk at the private lounge he took them to. The way staff treated him with immediate deference. This was his real world. Wealth beyond anything she'd imagined. You okay? Nathan asked quietly while the girls excitedly pressed their faces against the window, watching planes take off. I'm nervous, Simone admitted. What if your mother hates me? What if your friends think I'm not good enough? What if I use the wrong fork at dinner or say something stupid? Nathan cupped her face gently. My mother is going to love you because you made Isabel happy. My friends don't matter. And there's no wrong fork. You're overthinking this. You're brilliant, beautiful, and kind. That's all that matters. Easy for you to say. You were born into this world. Actually, my parents weren't wealthy until I was 10. My father built the company from nothing. I remember eating government cheese and shopping at thrift stores. Money came later, but I never forgot where we started. You have nothing to prove to anyone. The flight was smooth. The girls fell asleep halfway through, and Nathan and Simone talked quietly, her hand in his. Tell me about your mother, Simone said. Prepare me. Evelyn Pierce is formidable. She's smart, direct, and doesn't tolerate nonsense. She can be intimidating, but she has a good heart. She's been worried sick about Isabel. When I tell her how much you've helped, she'll be grateful. And when she finds out you have feelings for me, Nathan smiled. She'll probably start planning the wedding before we even announce an engagement. We're not engaged, Simone reminded him. Not yet, Nathan said, his eyes full of promise. But I'm a patient man when I want something. And I want you, Simone Bennett. I want you and Gloria in our lives permanently. San Francisco was overwhelming. The hotel suite was bigger than Simone's entire apartment. The view overlooked the bay. There were fresh flowers in every room and a basket of expensive snacks and toys for the girls. Gloria and Isabel ran from room to room, squealing with delight. "Mama, there's a bathtub big enough to swim in." Nathan laughed. "Go ahead, try it out. I'll order room service for dinner." That night, after the girls were asleep in the sweet second bedroom, Nathan and Simone sat on the balcony. The city lights sparkled below them. "Tomorrow we'll visit my office, then have dinner with my mother," Nathan said. "I know it's a lot. I can handle it," Simone said, trying to sound confident. "I know you can. You can handle anything." Nathan pulled out a small box from his pocket. "I got you something." Simone's heart stopped. "Nathan, if that's a ring, I'm going to panic." He laughed. "It's not. Open it." Inside was a delicate gold necklace with a small pendant shaped like two interlocking circles. "One circle for Isabel, one for Gloria," Nathan explained. "Our daughters brought us together. I wanted you to have something to remind you that you're part of this family now. No matter what." Simone's eyes filled with tears. "It's beautiful." Nathan fastened it around her neck. Then he kissed her, soft and deep and full of promises he intended to keep. "I love you," he whispered. "I know it's fast, I know we have complications to work through, but I love you." Simone looked into his eyes and saw her future. A future she never could have imagined months ago when she was facing eviction and hopelessness. "I love you too. I'm still terrified, but I love you. We'll figure it out together. One step at a time." And for the first time in her adult life, Simone believed that everything really would be okay. Nathan's office building was a towering structure of glass and steel in downtown San Francisco. The lobby alone was more impressive than anything Simone had seen before. Security guards nodded respectfully as Nathan walked past, both girls holding his hands, Simone walking beside him trying not to look overwhelmed. "Mr. Pierce, welcome back," the receptionist said warmly. "Your mother is waiting in your office." Nathan's expression tightened slightly. "I thought we weren't meeting her until dinner. She insisted on coming early. Said she wanted to meet your guests before the formal dinner." Nathan squeezed Simone's hand. "It'll be fine. She's direct, but not cruel." They took a private elevator to the top floor. The executive level was all modern design and breathtaking views. Nathan's office was a corner suite with windows overlooking the entire city. And standing in the center of it, examining a painting on the wall, was a woman who could only be Evelyn Pierce. She was in her early 60s, impeccably dressed in a tailored suit, her silver hair styled perfectly. She turned as they entered, and her sharp eyes immediately found Simone. "So you're the woman who helped my granddaughter find her voice again." It wasn't a question. Simone straightened her shoulders. "Yes, I'm Simone Bennett. This is my daughter, Gloria." Evelyn's gaze softened considerably when she looked at the children. "Isabel, darling, come give your grandmother a hug." Isabel ran to her, and Evelyn embraced her warmly. "Look at you, smiling and healthy. I'm so glad." She turned to Gloria. "And you must be the little girl Isabel talks about constantly. The one who loves purple and pink." Gloria nodded enthusiastically. "Isabel is my best friend. We're going to be sisters." Evelyn's eyebrows rose, and she looked at Nathan with a knowing smile. "Is that so?" Nathan cleared his throat. "Girls, why don't you go with Margaret to the break room? I think she mentioned something about cookies." His assistant, a kind-looking woman in her 40s, appeared and led the excited girls away. Once they were gone, Evelyn turned her full attention to Simone. "Sit down, dear. Let's have a conversation." Simone sat, trying not to fidget. Nathan stood beside her, protective. "Mother, Simone is important to me. To both Isabel and me. I need you to be kind. When have I ever been unkind to someone who deserves kindness?" Evelyn settled into a chair across from them. "Simone, my son tells me you're a waitress." "Yes, at Betty's Diner on 5th Street. And you're raising your daughter alone? Yes, Nathan also tells me you've been caring for Isabel for 3 months now, that you brought your daughter into the arrangement, and that the two children have become inseparable. That's true. Isabel and Gloria are wonderful together. Evelyn studied her for a long moment. I'm going to be direct with you, because I respect directness and I assume you do too. My son is one of the wealthiest men in this city. People have tried to use Isabel to get close to him, to access his money and status. I need to know if that's what you're doing. Simone felt Nathan tense beside her, but she put her hand on his arm, stopping him from defending her. She could handle this herself. Mrs. Pierce, 3 months ago I had no idea who your son really was. He told me he was a single father looking for childcare help, and he offered to pay me $20 an hour. I took the job because I was 2 days from being evicted and my daughter needed medical care I couldn't afford. I accepted his help because I was desperate, not because I wanted to manipulate him. And now that you know who he is, now I know he's the same man I fell in love with. The man who sits on the floor playing dolls with my daughter. The man who held Isabel all night when she had nightmares about her mother. The man who paid my rent so my child wouldn't be homeless. His money doesn't change who he is as a person. Evelyn's expression remained neutral. You said you fell in love with him. Are you in love with my son or his bank account? I'm in love with the man who proves every day that good men exist. If he lost everything tomorrow, if we went back to living in that tiny rental house, I'd still love him. My daughter and I don't need a mansion or designer clothes. We need someone who treats us with respect and kindness. Nathan does that. The money is, honestly, it's terrifying more than anything. For the first time, Evelyn smiled. A real, warm smile. Good answer. The right answer. She stood and crossed to Simone, taking her hands. I'm sorry for the interrogation, but I had to be sure. Too many people have tried to use my family. But I can see you're genuine. And more importantly, I can see that Isabel is truly happy for the first time since Catherine died. That's all I care about. Simone felt relief flood through her. Thank you, Mrs. Pierce. Call me Evelyn. And welcome to the family, dear. Something tells me you'll be part of it officially very soon. Nathan looked between the two women with barely concealed joy. So you approve? I more than approve. I'm delighted. Now, let's collect those girls and go to dinner. I want to get to know my future daughter-in-law better. We're not engaged yet, Simone protested weakly. Evelyn waved a hand dismissively. Details. It's coming, trust me. I know my son. When he commits to something, he commits completely. He's already decided. You just haven't realized it yet. Dinner that night was at an exclusive restaurant where everyone knew Nathan. Simone wore a dress that Nathan had insisted on buying her, something elegant but not too flashy. She felt beautiful and terrified in equal measure. But Evelyn kept the conversation light and warm. She asked about Gloria's interests, about Simone's childhood, about their daily routines. She told stories about Nathan as a boy, embarrassing anecdotes that made him groan and everyone else laugh. By the end of the night, Simone felt like she'd known Evelyn for years. The older woman hugged her goodbye with genuine affection. You're good for him, Evelyn whispered. You're good for both of them. Don't let anyone make you feel less than because of where you come from. You're exactly what this family needs. Back at the hotel, after the girls were asleep, Nathan pulled Simone onto the balcony again. You survived my mother. You're officially indestructible. Simone laughed. She's wonderful. Intimidating, but wonderful. She loves you. I could tell. Nathan wrapped his arms around her from behind, his chin resting on her shoulder. So where do we go from here? Forward, Simone said simply. Together. One step at a time. I want you to move in with us. Not the rental house. I'm buying a real home here in San Francisco. Something big enough for all of us, with a yard for the girls, close to good schools. Move in with me, Simone. Build a life with me. Simone turned in his arms. That's a big step. I'm ready for it. Are you? She thought about Gloria, about the opportunities Nathan could provide. She thought about Isabel, who already felt like her daughter. She thought about Nathan, the man who'd saved her when she needed it most and then proven every day that he was worth loving. "Yes," she said. "Yes, I'm ready." Nathan kissed her, deep and passionate, full of love and promise and a future neither of them had expected but both desperately wanted. The move to San Francisco happened quickly. Nathan bought a beautiful home in Pacific Heights, a neighborhood of tree-lined streets and elegant houses. The place was perfect: 5 bedrooms, a large yard, a playroom for the girls, and enough space for everyone to breathe while still feeling connected. Simone insisted on continuing to work, at least part-time. Nathan set her up with a position at a boutique bakery owned by a friend, something that let her pursue her passion for baking without the grueling hours of the diner. She also enrolled in online business classes, wanting to eventually open her own shop. "You don't have to work," Nathan said one morning as she prepared to leave. "I want to," Simone replied, kissing him goodbye. "I need something that's mine. You understand that, right?" He did. That's what made him perfect. He supported her independence even as he provided security. The girls started at the same private school, thriving in an environment with small class sizes and excellent teachers. Isabel's therapist, Dr. Cole, was thrilled with her progress. Gloria adapted to her new life with the resilience of childhood, making friends and loving her fancy new bedroom with its pink walls and princess bed. But Nathan knew there was one more step he needed to take. One conversation they'd been dancing around for months. "We both got lucky. Now let's go check on our daughters and start planning the wedding of your dreams." Simone smiled at the word. Our daughters. Not his, not hers. Theirs. Together. The family they'd built from broken pieces and desperate hope was stronger than any family born from easy circumstances. They'd chosen each other, fought for each other, and would spend the rest of their lives proving that love, when it's real, can overcome any obstacle. The wedding was planned for early spring, 6 months after the proposal. Simone wanted something elegant but not excessive, which proved challenging given Nathan's wealth and Evelyn's enthusiasm. They compromised on a beautiful ceremony at a historic mansion with gardens, intimate enough to feel personal but grand enough to accommodate Nathan's business associates and social circle. Simone's transformation over the months was remarkable, though she remained fundamentally herself. She navigated charity galas and business dinners with grace, never pretending to be something she wasn't. The San Francisco elite were charmed by her authenticity. She didn't try to fit their mold. She simply existed in her own space, confident and kind. Her bakery, Sweet Simone's, opened 3 months before the wedding. It was small but perfect, located in a busy neighborhood with lots of foot traffic. Simone created custom cakes and pastries, and word spread quickly. Within weeks, she had more orders than she could handle and hired 2 assistants. "I'm proud of you," Nathan said one evening, watching her review business accounts. "You did this yourself." "You gave me the means to do it," Simone corrected. "I gave you a loan. You're paying it back ahead of schedule. You built something real through your own talent and hard work. That's all you." The girls were thriving in ways that amazed everyone. Isabel was at the top of her class, outgoing and happy. She'd made several friends and loved soccer and art class. Gloria was equally successful, her natural charm making her popular with teachers and classmates. They did everything together, true sisters in every way that mattered. One Saturday afternoon, Simone took both girls wedding dress shopping. Not for her dress, which was being custom-made, but for their flower girl dresses. "I want purple," Isabel declared. "I want pink," Gloria countered. "What if we do both?" Simone suggested. "Purple dresses with pink flowers, or pink dresses with purple flowers." The girls considered this compromise, then high-fived. "Purple dresses, pink flowers," they said in unison. The boutique owner brought out several options. The girls tried on dress after dress, twirling and giggling. Finally, they found perfect matches: lavender dresses with pink rose details, age-appropriate and beautiful. "You both look like princesses," Simone said, her heart full. "You're going to look like a queen," Isabel replied seriously. "Daddy says so. He says you're the most beautiful woman in the world." Simone blinked back tears. "Your daddy is biased." "No, he's right," Gloria insisted. You are beautiful, Mama. Inside and outside. That night, Simone lay in bed with Nathan, her head on his chest, listening to his heartbeat. Are you nervous about the wedding? He asked. A little. It's a lot of people, a lot of attention. We can still elope. Say the word and we'll fly to Hawaii tonight. Simone laughed. Your mother would kill us both. Besides, the girls are so excited. I want them to have this memory. Then that's what we'll do. Nathan kissed the top of her head. I can't wait to call you my wife. Mrs. Simone Pierce. It sounds strange. It sounds perfect. The weeks leading up to the wedding flew by. There were dress fittings, menu tastings, flower selections, and 1,000 other details. Evelyn handled most of it with efficient joy, while Simone focused on her bakery and the girls. Nathan's bachelor party was a quiet dinner with close friends. He didn't want anything excessive, just good food and better company. His best man, his college roommate Michael, gave a toast that made everyone laugh. When Nathan told me he was pretending to be poor to find a genuine person to help his daughter, I thought he'd lost his mind. But then I met Simone, and I understood. She's real, she's kind, she's perfect for him and Isabel. Here's to taking crazy risks that pay off. Simone's bridal shower was at Evelyn's home, attended by her new friends, co-workers from the bakery, and Nathan's female relatives. The wealth in that room could have funded a small country, but everyone treated Simone with warmth and acceptance. You fit into this world better than most people born into it, Evelyn's sister commented. You're comfortable with yourself. That's rare and valuable. The night before the wedding, Simone stayed at Evelyn's house while Nathan stayed home with the girls. It was tradition, he claimed, though Simone suspected he just wanted her to rest without worrying about last-minute details. Evelyn knocked on the guest room door around midnight. Can't sleep. Too excited. Too nervous. Too everything. Evelyn sat on the bed. I want you to know something. Catherine, Nathan's first wife, was a good woman. She loved Isabel deeply. But she and Nathan weren't truly happy. They married young, for the wrong reasons. There was affection but not passion. When she got sick, Nathan devoted himself to her care because that's who he is. But he never experienced real love, the kind that transforms you. Why are you telling me this? Simone asked softly. Because I see how he looks at you. Like you hung the moon and stars. Like he can't believe his luck. That's real love. You gave him something he never had before. Don't doubt for a second that you deserve to be here, in this life, with this family. You earned it through your character, not circumstances. Simone hugged Evelyn. Thank you. For accepting me, for welcoming Gloria, for everything. Thank you for making my son and granddaughter happy. That's all a mother wants. Now get some sleep. Tomorrow is your day. But Simone lay awake for hours more, thinking about the journey that had brought her here. From that desperate day in the diner to this moment, everything had changed. She'd accepted help when she needed it most, and that choice had led to love, family, and a future beyond her wildest dreams. Tomorrow she would marry Nathan Pierce, and their family would be complete. Two broken people, two hurting children, had found each other and built something beautiful. That was the real fairy tale. Not the wealth or the mansion or the designer dress. The love. The choice to trust, to hope, to believe in second chances. Simone fell asleep with a smile on her face, ready for her wedding day and the life that would follow. The morning of the wedding dawned clear and beautiful, the kind of perfect spring day that seemed almost too good to be true. Simone woke in Evelyn's guest room to sunshine streaming through the windows and the sound of excited voices downstairs. The girls had stayed over too, and from the sound of it, they were already awake and energetic. She showered, then submitted to hours of professional hair and makeup. The team Evelyn had hired was efficient and talented, transforming Simone into a bride without making her look artificial. When she finally saw herself in the mirror, she gasped. "You're stunning," the makeup artist said with satisfaction. The dress was next. Custom designed, it was elegant and romantic without being over the top. Ivory silk with delicate lace details, it fit perfectly, making Simone feel like the best version of herself. Not like someone else. Just like Simone, but elevated. Gloria and Isabel burst into the room, already dressed in their lavender flower girl dresses. They stopped and stared. "Mama, you look like a princess," Gloria breathed. "You look like a queen," Isabel corrected. "Daddy is going to cry when he sees you." "I might cry first," Simone admitted, already feeling tears threaten her carefully applied makeup. Evelyn appeared, regal in a silver mother-of-the-groom dress. "No crying yet. Save it for the ceremony. Girls, are you ready? Do you have your flower baskets?" "Ready," they chorused, holding up baskets of pink roses. The drive to the venue felt surreal. Simone kept looking at her reflection, at the ring on her finger, at her daughters in the seat beside her. This was really happening. She was really marrying Nathan Pierce. The mansion gardens were transformed into something magical. White chairs lined a flower-covered aisle. String lights hung between trees despite the daytime hour, ready for the evening reception. Hundreds of guests filled the seats, everyone dressed in elegant formal wear. But Simone only had eyes for Nathan, standing at the altar with Michael beside him. He wore a perfectly tailored tuxedo, looking nervous and excited and so handsome she could hardly breathe. The music started. Isabel and Gloria walked down the aisle together, scattering rose petals and grinning at everyone. They took their places at the front, then turned to watch their mother's entrance. Simone walked alone, having no father to give her away. But she didn't feel alone. She felt powerful, choosing this moment, this man, this life. Every step down that aisle was a step toward her future. Nathan's eyes filled with tears when he saw her. Isabel had been right. "Hi," Simone whispered when she reached him. "Hi," he whispered back. "You're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen." Judge Morrison, who had handled Gloria's adoption, was officiating. She smiled warmly at them both. "We're gathered here today to witness something truly special. Two families becoming one. Nathan and Simone, your journey to this moment has been unconventional, born from struggle and hope and the courage to accept help when it was offered. You've built something remarkable together, and today you make it official." The ceremony was simple but meaningful. They'd written their own vows, words that came from the heart. Nathan went first. "Simone, the day I walked into that diner, I was pretending to be someone I'm not. But you saw through the surface to the real me. The father who was desperate to help his daughter. The man who was lonely and lost. You didn't judge me for my failures or try to change me. You just offered kindness, patience, and eventually love. You brought Isabel back to life. You taught me that accepting help isn't weakness. You showed me what real strength looks like. I promise to spend every day of our lives making you as happy as you've made me and Isabel. I promise to support your dreams, to share your burdens, and to love Gloria as completely as I love my own daughter. You're my partner, my love, my everything. Thank you for choosing us." Simone took a shaky breath, tears already streaming. "Nathan, when we met, I was at my lowest point. Desperate, scared, alone. You offered me help, and I was smart enough to take it. You gave me security and opportunity, but more than that, you gave me hope. You proved that good men exist. You showed Gloria what a father should be. You loved me when I was broken and built me up without trying to change who I am. You accepted my daughter as your own without hesitation. I promise to stand beside you through everything. To be your partner in parenting, in business, in life. To love Isabel as fiercely as I love Gloria. To never let pride stop me from accepting your help, and to always offer mine in return. You saved us, but we saved you too. That's what family does. We save each other." There wasn't a dry eye in the crowd. Judge Morrison had to pause to compose herself before continuing. "By the power vested in me by the state of California, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Nathan, you may kiss your bride." Nathan pulled Simone into his arms and kissed her deeply, passionately, sealing their promise. The crowd erupted in applause. Gloria and Isabel rushed forward, hugging their parents' legs. The reception was everything a wedding should be. Delicious food, beautiful flowers, dancing, and laughter. Simone's cake, which she'd made herself with help from her bakery staff, was a masterpiece that guests raved about. Nathan's toast made everyone cry again. I thought I knew what I was looking for when I walked into that diner. Someone to help Isabel. What I found was a woman who would change everything. Simone, you're my wife now, and I'm the luckiest man alive. To my beautiful bride and our beautiful daughters. Simone's toast was simpler. I learned something important this year. Accepting help isn't weakness. It's wisdom. Nathan helped me when I needed it most, and because I was smart enough to accept, we're all here today. To second chances, to family, and to love that chooses to grow even when life is hard. They danced their first dance to a song Isabel had helped pick, something romantic but not too sappy. Then Nathan danced with Isabel, and Simone danced with Gloria. Then the four of them danced together, a family unit complete and whole. Late in the evening, as guests mingled and the party continued, Nathan pulled Simone aside to a quiet corner of the garden. Happy? He asked. Happier than I ever thought possible, Simone replied honestly. A year ago I was facing eviction. Today I married a billionaire who loves me for exactly who I am. It feels like a dream. It's not a dream. It's real, it's permanent, and it's just the beginning. Nathan's hand moved to her stomach in a gentle, knowing gesture. Speaking of beginnings. Simone's eyes went wide. How did you know? You've been turning green at the smell of coffee for 2 weeks. When were you going to tell me? Tonight. After the wedding. I found out 3 days ago. Simone's hand covered his on her stomach. Are you happy? I'm ecstatic. Isabel and Gloria are going to lose their minds. Another sibling. Our baby. Half you, half me, proof that we were meant to be a family. Spring baby, Simone mused. Due in about 8 months. Perfect timing. Sweet Simone's will be established. The girls will be settled in school. We'll be ready. Nathan kissed her softly. Thank you. For everything. For accepting my help when you needed it. For loving my daughter. For building this life with me. For giving me another child. For being exactly who you are. Thank you for seeing me when I felt invisible. For treating Gloria like your own. For giving us security and love and a future. For being the man I didn't believe existed. They stood in the garden, wrapped in each other's arms, while their wedding guests celebrated inside. Two people who had been broken in different ways, who had found each other in the most unlikely circumstances, who had chosen to build something beautiful from their struggles. Isabel and Gloria ran out to find them, laughing and energetic despite the late hour. Come dance, Gloria demanded. Everyone wants to see the family dance again. Yeah, come on, Isabel echoed. This is the best day ever. Nathan and Simone exchanged a look of pure joy, then let their daughters drag them back to the party. Their family. Built not from convenience or obligation but from choice, from love, from the courage to accept help and to offer it in return. The future stretched before them, bright and full of possibility. More children, shared dreams, challenges they would face together. But tonight was about celebration. About the journey that had brought them here and the life they would build moving forward. As Simone danced with her husband and daughters under the string lights, surrounded by people who had come to celebrate their love, she felt a contentment deeper than anything she'd known before. This was home. This was family. This was love in its truest, most beautiful form. And it all started because she'd been brave enough to accept help when a stranger offered it in a diner on her darkest day. Because sometimes, the people who save us are the ones who need saving too.